It's the issue for so many of us. Our colleagues at 538 forecast right now, they've got former Vice President Joe Biden favored to win this election with an 84 in 100 chance, whereas President Trump is given a 16 in 100 shot. So let's bring in 538 political editor Sarah Frostenson for more. Sarah, first, what does that mean, 84 in 100? How do you get that number? Assuming it means that Trump is behind, what can Vice President Pence do to make it up?
Right. So right now, the best card that Trump has had in his back pocket is the economy. And so his decision to put stimulus relief on hold until after the election is a curious choice. In terms of fundamentals that our forecast looks at, so that's things aside from the polls like the economy or incumbency, it was really the economy that was helping Trump the most. And so one reason why Biden is ahead now and doing so much better is Trump hasn't been able to deliver on economic promises here leading up to the election.
In part because of this pandemic, which is one of the big issues tonight. So what are the polls showing about voters' preference on that issue?
Right. Well, curiously, though, even though Trump hasn't made that much progress here in the last quarter in terms of the economy and economic recovery, voters still trust him more than Biden in terms of handling the economy. So that is something to keep in mind, even though no sign of stimulus packages now will be in voters' pockets heading to the polls.
So it's been a wild week since the first presidential debate. Wow, has it only been that long? A little bit more, I guess. How has the race changed in the last 8 days? Obviously, the president's diagnosis. But how are you looking at it in that model you've got? What shifts do you see because of this crazy news cycle we've had?
Right. Well, exactly as you're saying, because the news cycle is so crazy, it's really hard for us to pinpoint one key event to see, well, how did that change the polls? One thing we can do, though, is look at the last debate, right? And so Biden actually saw, yet again, a little modest uptick in the polls. It was only about a point on average in terms of polls that were done before the debate and after the debate. But the fact that he already had such a sizable national lead over Trump, that is quite a shift, given that, it was Trump who needed to make up ground in the last debate. And going into this debate, Pence and Harris aren't as well known as Biden and Trump. So there is a possibility that in seeing the number 2 candidates tonight, voters at home will be able, who are still maybe on the fence, to hear their messages and decide whether or not they're in Trump or Biden's camp. So it's not over for Trump yet by any means.
And this vice presidential debate also might be important because both those candidates, Trump and Biden, are older in a time of pandemic. 538, let's take another look at the other branch of government. Just released its forecast for the House of Representatives. What's the latest?
That's right. So we have 3 versions of our forecast for the House and for the Senate as well. And no matter which one you look at for the House, it shows Democrats holding on to their majority there and maybe even picking up a few seats. And also, unlike the Senate or presidential forecast where there's a lot more uncertainty, the Democrats' possibility of holding on to the House is much stronger. It's in the 90%. So that's a pretty good coin toss that I'd want to throw if I were a Democrat.
All right. Well, I'm not a betting man, but I think that's a safe bet in the House there. Sarah Frostenson from 538, thanks very much. And remember, the election is now just 27 days away. You can find out how to register and vote in your state at 538.com.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.